All right, that took a little longer than usual. YouTube is being all slow. Hello, everybody. I'm BMillzebub, and welcome to my channel. I want to apologize real quick for YouTube shitting the bed yesterday. I told it to start the broadcast, today, but YouTube decided to be all like, "You mean today, right? Yesterday, today." So sorry for everyone that came in, waited for 45 minutes before anyone told me, YouTube told me I was supposed to be live. But we are here for the Seven Princes live stream, which we do every month. And we have tonight Mrs. Snarky, Scientist Mel, Bible Belt Atheist, and hashtag Heathen will be along shortly. So say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Did I do okay?
You did all right.
Yay!
This time with enthusiasm.
Hello, everybody.
Now in your best British accent.
Maddie just told me it was a good hello, so I know it was a good hello.
All right. So I thought it would be interesting if each of us would give a little bit of information on our chosen Prince of Hell. As you know, hopefully some of you know at least, we have chosen different princes of hell to represent, our role in the show. And yeah, I am BMillzebub or Beelzebub, obviously. I mean, come on. And I thought it'd be interesting to just give a little bit of backstory behind the character of the Prince of Hell that we each represent. So would all of you like me to go first to kind of, set the mood, or?
Sure.
All right. Maybe take a little bit of pressure off of you.
Yes.
All right. So as I said, the chosen prince of mine is Beelzebub, almost entirely because my YouTube channel name is based off of that. And the name actually is derived from a Philistine god formerly worshipped in Ekron, and later on was adopted by some Abrahamic religions as one of the major demons. And the name Beelzebub is often associated with the Canaanite god Baal, or if you're pronouncing it correctly, Baal, because there's a little apostrophe between the A's there. It's also used as another name for the devil, kind of like the same way Satan is, which is just kind of funny because nobody really seems to be able to, keep who the devil actually is straight. No one can make up their mind, seemingly. And the Dictionary Infernal, which is something I never heard about once before doing any research into Beelzebub, describes Beelzebub as being capable of flying, so hence him being known as Lord of the Flyers, or more popularly, Lord of the Flies. According to the Hebrew Bible, the Hebrews called him the Prince of Demons, which is interesting because immediately after that it goes to reference Matthew and Luke, which totally makes sense. And the title Baal actually means Lord in, I've never heard of this language, but Ugaritic. I don't know. It's some ancient, probably dead language. How am I supposed to know? And is used in conjunction with the descriptive name of a specific god. And actually, Beelzebub could really have been called Baal-Zebul, which means Lord of the Heavenly Dwelling. So I could either be one of the princes of hell, or I can be one of the lords in heaven. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. I'm just saying. But it was used in a derogatory way to call someone Beelzebub, which was used to offend the enemies of the Israelites. Now, here's where it gets a little more into modern interpretation, even though this is going back to the 16th century. Occultist Johann Weyer said that Beelzebub led a successful revolt against the devil. So I guess that means that I'm in the highest position of hell. I don't know. It's weird. It's another one of those occasions where I don't think they can get their story straight. Moving forward to the 17th century, there's an exorcist, and I am going to butcher the fuck out of this person's name, but they're Sebastian Michaelis. Sorry, I don't speak probably French. And he has a book, I think, called Admirable History, and he placed Beelzebub as being one of the three most prominent fallen angels, the other two being Lucifer and Leviathan. So I'm trying to remember which one of you is Lucifer. Snarky, you are Lucifer, and Gray Skeptic Mac, who has yet to show up, is the other one. So get on that shit, Mac.
Shade. Woo, the salt.
No, and I'm sure we're all at least familiar with the name of the epic poem Paradise Lost. Actually, that red book way up there that you guys probably can't see because I don't think I have my camera tilted that far up. He identified an unholy trinity consisting of Beelzebub, Lucifer, and Astaroth. Not sure who Astaroth is. Doesn't really matter to me. That wasn't part of my research. So
Astaroth is a big bad motherfucker.
Yeah, and John Milton placed Beelzebub as the second ranking of the fallen angels. And Milton actually wrote of Beelzebub, than whom Satan except none higher sat, which is really, really interesting grammar to me. But
well, I mean, you're a demon, right? You're supposed to be able to instantly speak other languages. That's what Maddie said, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, well, the language has to be intelligible first.
Oh!
Otherwise, the translation is just going to be gibberish.
Lumpy is salty tonight, y'all.
I am.
But, maybe demons just only spoke in Pig Latin. You know, if they spoke in Pig Latin, maybe that's truly the demon language.
No, they speak Enochian. Just because. Because John D.
And going back to Sebastian Michaelis, again, I butchered his name. He associated Beelzebub with the deadly sin of pride. However, according to Peter Binsfeld, Beelzebub is the demon of gluttony, which is the reference that most people use now. So,
yeah,
I'm
pride. Can I be both? I think I'm both.
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Demonic, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm terribly scared with all of this demon talk.
Well, at least we're not talking about Cthulhu, because that could get dark.
That could get dark. That might be fun. None of this frightens me at all, the demon stuff. I've never been scared by any demon type of film. or like ghost movie. It's just, I'm like, they just, I don't know. Outside of maybe something that walks the line of, is this like the Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. I loved the crap out of that, but I didn't see it as anything like scary. I just saw it as a bunch of family member with sleep paralysis. They're all suffering from mold and have a history of mental illness. So I just sat there watching.
Yeah, there's always an explanation. And by the way, hi, hashtag Heathen.
Hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Mel, you got to come in and wreck up the party with logic and.
No.
How dare you? No logic allowed.
No logic or evidence
We're talking spiritual, y'all.
Okay. Well, I have a book right here on how to conduct spiritual warfare as I see it by Mary Garrison, if anybody's curious on how to rid the demons out of this particular episode.
Pray every day. Every day, pray.
It has and she has lots of other books. This one has 96 pages of text, and then there's a chart, an easy to read chart in the back to help you about the carnal babes. That sounds like a punk band.
It also sounds kind of like
babes, yeah.
So
they're definitely the British wave of punk.
Carnal babes,
Yeah.
which I think those were heavenly. Those are on the heavenly side, so that might actually not be demonic, according to Mary Garrison.
Oh,
yeah, it's part of the kingdom of God. So, the carnal babes.
Yeah, that tends to be a common theme among the spiritualist books. Is you have like the good demons or angels and the bad demons, and they both kind of reflect one another. But they're but they're also different because they're the bad parts of one trait.
Okay. So, do you want me to talk about my demon now?
Yeah, if you want to go next.
Sure. I'll go next because I have a very interesting chapter from Mary Garrison's book that's related to my demon, known as Asmodius. Asmodius or Asmodius. Maybe he's from Asgard, where Jeff Goldblum would go. Through the devil's anus to get to Asgard. So Asmodius is the prince of lust, and he's ugly. He's really ugly. He has a face that's a man. He's got 3 heads. He's got a man face, he's got a sheep face, and he's got a bull face. All right. So Asmodius has got these 3 heads. And so the man's face sounds like it should be the most normal, but it's got like pointed ears. He's got a hooked nose, jagged teeth, fire-breathing mouth, and this human characteristic is probably like the worst out of all of them. Now, all of the heads are crowned above one chest, so it's like a man's chest, and at the waist, it looks like he's got this weird transformation to where he turns into the legs of a rooster and a scaly tail of a serpent. So that's really sexy, guys, So if you're going to get like a sexy lust demon, Asmodius, that's their go-to. Now, if he didn't look weird enough, he also rides something that's weird. It's a lion with wings that has the neck of a dragon. So, dragon-necked lion with wings. That's his mode of transportation. So, he's considered to be a very powerful demon. And he has to be cunning and cruel and that sort of thing in order to get there. All right. So, all of the 7 princes of hell, each one has a particular sin that they're associated with. This one, Asmodius, his sin is lust. So when I think about sexy times, it's certainly with a bull head, a sheep head, and a really ugly dude that has rooster legs and a serpent tail.
Well, I mean, what more could a woman ask for?
I mean,
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
although lust is his jam, he does get involved with other sins. He's like the lord over gambling houses. He likes revenge. He also doesn't miss an opportunity to kind of go and put a little fire on a grudge or help concoct violent plans for vengeance, so he likes that stuff too. He was at one point given a more lighthearted and playful personality, but he was also considered very promiscuous, and he liked to play dice. So, he liked to roll some dice. He didn't have the evil intentions that one would expect from one of Hell's 7 princes in that particular type of representation of Asmodius. So they think that Asmodius was primarily derived from the Ashma Deva, which is a wrathful demon that you kind of see in Zoroastrianism. If you're not familiar with that particular faith, Zoroastrianism is pretty cool. Demons and angels are equally matched in power and ability. Good is just as powerful as evil. It's almost like yin and yang. So it's pretty cool faith. So later on, Jewish and Christian faiths kind of built off of that Ashma Deva's infamy and kind of put Asmodius together from that. He's seen in the Talmud, the Testament of Solomon, around 3rd century BCE. He appears as a demon who was forced to help build Solomon's temple. So he didn't want to have to build that junk, but he was made to anyway. He proved to be a bit too powerful for this form of slavery. And so when he was his roving eye fell on Solomon's beautiful wife. So he's like, I'm going to go see what's going on over there. And he decided enough is enough. So he took Solomon 400 miles into the desert, then disguised himself as Solomon and took over his palace as well as his wives. And so eventually Solomon came back. I imagine that's a pretty long hike, 400 miles on foot. Not certain if you got a camel or something, but that's a while. He got back and he's like, I'm not having this. And so Solomon kicked out Asmodius, but I guess Asmodius had it pretty sweet for a while. It's good to be the king. So in the book of Tobit, about 400 AD, you see Asmodius again, and he shows up as this evil demon who kills several of Sarah's husbands, only to be driven away by Raphael, the archangel Raphael. And then you also see him in Jewish and Christian, other Jewish and Christian texts. And different theologians in those faiths include Asmodius in their characterization of demons. So he shows up in like the Dictionnaire Infernal, where he's given his particularly high ranking as one of the 7 princes of hell, main demon. He is seen in more modern place, like he's kind of faded out of contemporary pop culture. But the last time we technically kind of see him is in the 17th century with Spanish and French playwrights, where they kind of took him and kind of made him into like this genie in a bottle type of role. And it was like a fun companion for, a late night, thing, like a one night stand or something. But a lot of today's theologians kind of like, are a bit more serious, but he's considered kind of obscure. So yeah, Asmodius. So if you're curious, this comes from our esteemed Mary Garrison. She's written several books on how to conduct spiritual warfare. Here's something that she says. She preempts all of this, and this whole section right here is 1, 2, 3. It's like 3 or 4 pages. And so for this one, it's how the seducing spirit and the perverse spirit ministers to a homosexual. Perhaps Asmodius is all up in that. I'm not certain. because, you know, I don't know. I don't know if Asmodius is involved in homosexuality.
Wow.
Imagine, you know. But hey, so this is what she says. I won't read a whole lot of this because, you know, oh my God. Anyway, he says, I am not qualified to know or understand what dark circumstances happen in a person's life to cause him to become a homosexual. Notice she says him. Because women cannot be gay, I guess. I do not know what terrible wound was dealt to that human spirit to cause a gaping open hole. I didn't read this before I read it to you.
Obviously.
And I realized where I am. in it that would not heal. It festered to the extent that this lonely soul would withdraw for a while from what he would consider to be the ways of life. But I do know that this has happened to him because the Lord of all of the universe has showed it to me. Good job, Mary. There are people like you on Twitter who also say lots of things like that.
Yeah, there are lots
cool.
of them.
Yes.
Waves of them.
This is what she says she is highly qualified for. I am highly qualified to write about what I do know to be true. I do so in the hope of ministering healing truth to those who are injured in their spirits and have turned for hurtful reasons to a homosexual way of life. Mary, what if they aren't hurtful reasons? Does that completely demolish your whole idea of this?
How does a spirit get hurt? It's a spirit. It's not a tangible thing that can get broken or bruised.
I don't know. The truth is very important to those who are to receive this ministry because it is the key that will unlock the door that will let them go free. Please remember, as I present this truth, all good salve tends to sting a little as it is applied to open wounds. So stand still for the entire application. For your gaping hole, I imagine.
Oh,
No
all
matter
what I
how
say.
For it is coming straight from the heart for a loving father with a healing hand extended to the homosexual.
Yeah, you know, everything I say is true. Believe me.
I'll be right back.
Just
And
believe
if it's
me.
not, I totally mean well because Jesus and God, they all mean well. Right?
The path to hell.
So that's Asmodius for you and our sweet little Mary Garrison who thinks that homosexuals are hurt and that's why they're gay and that they need to have ministers get the demons out of them and treat their gaping holes with I guess Jesus cream.
Oh God.
So poor Mary, she tried so hard.
I think this is a good segue to say lube. You can never have too much.
Very true.
You know, it's healing powers. I don't know that it does that, but you know, if Jesus's hand is going to extend to that gaping hole, you probably need a lot of Jesus cream.
Look, most lubes you can see through, and you can also see through crystals. Okay,
Yes.
that's how
I don't know about crystals and gaping holes. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, no, there is such a thing called a jade egg, but I wouldn't.
We've thoroughly covered that on my channel.
Yeah,
all the way down to weightlifting with them.
Oh my God, I remember that. Jeez.
Asmodius lives on my show Oral Dassy. There are a lovely Doc Savage who sneaks in entendres that completely went over my head for several episodes.
This is just an excellent happenstance that Asmodius is the demon that got assigned to you, because that is fantastic.
I did. He's on my show. Like Oral Dacity. Doc Savage is Asmodius, but a much better looking one, if I may say so. Put in the lust in the ladies on my show. God, there's some thirsty ladies who have messaged me about him. I'm like, simmer down, ladies. he's so sexy. They were on the side chat. He's so sexy. I think Doc is sexy. I'm like, we can all see what you're saying right now, but okay.
So, who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead and go if you want.
All right.
Mine's not as lengthy, but
I'm sorry. I will chat y'all today.
no, I didn't put as much information together, and that's totally not on me, right? But yes, Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Isaiah 14:12. So yeah, Lucifer comes from the Latin, the morning star, planet Venus, or as an adjective, light-bringing from the Greek mythos known as Phosphorus or Esophagus. The explanation for the name Lucifer being in the Bible is in its translation in the 4th century AD. So this was a time when Lucifer was kind of a popular figure. And but at that time, we were talking in terms of Babylon. So the equivalent to the morning star in Babylonia was Hillel, which of course morning star, and Shahar, which means dawn. And it's a kind of linked to the idea of Venus because in the morning during the summer, Venus shows up on the horizon in the morning, thus morning star. So yeah, they were Babylonian astral deities, which explains the switch in translation from the old mythos to a more modern one. This Hillel deity, much like Lucifer, Satan, the tail, consists of a falling from grace or goodness in the order of things within the pantheon. Hillel was a prideful person or deity, and this pride instigated his desire to do a power grab. Of course, he wanted to hold the most authority among gods, which of course was something the other gods didn't really like. They weren't so keen on that. So in any pantheon or authority structure, a coup is kind of frowned upon, unless you're Zeus. That's totally cool, right? But yeah, so Lux or Lucis, meaning light, and Farah, meaning to bear or to bring. So there are, of course, a lot of traditions that celebrate Lucifer as an illuminating figure in their spiritual practice, especially those who consider themselves Gnostics or Luciferians. Now, the Gnostics are kind of like Christians, but they hold a much more esoteric view of God. To them, God is something you know from within yourself and not a thing outside that one must seek. The idea is to open a truth hidden deeply within each person. And Lucifer, the bringer of light, is the perfect mascot for such an idea. See, their belief is that Yahweh or Jehovah is a trickster god, and the world that he created is an illusion. And the only escape from this illusion is the light of truth, and that truth is within the purity of the individual soul. Now, Luciferians have a bit of a different view, of course, but ultimately we see Lucifer in the same light. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, they do tend to focus on Lucifer being a figure of knowledge and enlightenment, truth and freedom. One huge difference between Luciferians and the Gnostics is the focus on daily life. See, Luciferians view life as the ultimate pleasure and no need to strive for a better time elsewhere. Illusions to them are merely things not yet learned. While it's true that many Luciferians worship the deity, many only regard him as a figure to admire and a representation well suited for those seeking enlightenment, whether spiritual or not. One of the more popularizing characters, at least during the 19th, 20th century, was Helena Blavatsky, or Madame Blavatsky. As I said before, she was one of the most famous occultists who ever lived, and the founder of a school of thought known as Theosophy. And she wrote a publication called Lucifer in the late 19th century that sparked a very new interest in occultism from that time till now, and also inspiring other thinkers to dedicate their lives to the path of Luciferian-type occult enlightenment. So, yay.
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 That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about the whole Greek thing, you know, the morning star, but I didn't know about the earlier meanings of Lucifer's name or the other ways to say it.
There's a lot. There's surprisingly, like I said, I didn't really. It would take like a couple of hours to really cover all the different correspondence to the same kind of idea or character. But yeah, I just wanted to stick to maybe one of the oldest mentioned ones and some of the newer ideas. Yeah, it's not quite the same as like Satanism, really, because Satanism isn't so much of a spiritual thing, and they're not really seeking enlightenment, so to speak. But whereas Luciferians are, yeah.
That's really cool.
Cool.
I guess. And also, Lucifer is the demon of pride. That's just to reiterate that. I'm proud that I know it.
All right. So who's next?
Me, unless there's anybody else on that hasn't gone.
I mean, are you wanting to go last?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of concentrating on this, but I'm very able to talk and do this at the same time, as long as I'm not being surrounded.
Oh, are you? Are you really?
Alternatively, you could pause the game.
You could.
Yeah.
I know it's odd to know that.
Well, no, I'm trying to. Well, what I meant by that is like doing this. Whoa, shit! Doing this and trying to talk and do this to try and give some entertainment to people, so that they're not just looking at a fucking pause menu.
Are you entertained?
But either way, Satan is most commonly known as the one who gets blamed for absolutely every fucking thing. He's also supposedly one of the most worshipped demons in all of Christianity or demonology in general. But bastard. What else? There's apparently Satan's favorite music is heavy metal because every fucking band is worshiping Satan.
And his favorite character is Darth Maul.
Well, I mean, they look very similar, so
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't really do any research, so that's kind of just me talking off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Killing me, dude.
In other news, Darth Maul.
Do what?
No, Darth Maul is so cool looking. I'm sorry. I really wish that he would have had a bigger part in Star Wars. That's all I'm going to say on it.
I'm going to help
Well,
you
he
out.
did, but it was kind of like off to the side.
Yeah. Boo.
Mel, I wish I had that book for this.
Okay, so I'm going to help you out with Satan. All right, so this is what Mary says. The crooked way into the kingdom of Satan, parallel truth, imitated, counterfeited way for his followers. Okay, so I'm going to skip the scripture. I'm going to go to this part. Key to understanding the kingdom of darkness. The greatest and most important work of Satan, now among men, is to counterfeit the kingdom of God. Deity, reign, city, the way, the doctrine, worship, experiences, gifts, miracles, religion, fasting, all Bible principles, procedures, etc. She put etc. in here. So, to simulate all the attributes, ways, and things of God so as to deceive mankind. So, Mary says it's the other way around, about, that God isn't the one that's the trickster, it's Satan. And so what she tries to do, she goes, I will endeavor to show the comparison, parody, parallel, reversal, opposite, the twisting, perverting, counterfeiting, simulating ways and methods of the adversary, Satan, the reversal of the normal, right, and accepted methods. So she goes through, so everything that is opposite, it's like opposite land. Mm-hmm. So if it's like go to Wonderland, I guess, if it's like Alice in Wonderland, you drink tea out the bottom instead of the top, and you can literally stand on your head, I guess. Maybe stuff like that. So God has order, and I guess Satan doesn't. We know that's not true. There are 7 princes of hell, so that's kind of orderly, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she says, the unjust living are given a like opportunity of ascending in spirit to the very presence of Satan himself, projecting his spirit into his presence, also by a blood sacrifice. Ooh. The ritual may be performed by offering human or animal blood. So, and she says this because God required the blood of a spotless lamb. This is what Satan needs. Okay, y'all take notes. This is how you get into the kingdom of Satan. Satan requires the blood of a very evil sacrifice, such as filthy menstrual blood, the goat or pig, or perhaps human blood.
The blood of a ginger.
Yes. Evil, abominable things are used to obtain Satan's presence and favors. That's the opposite of the Lamb of God. So it's opposite land. So remember, and somebody who loaned me this book, like underlined this part. So I guess this particular part is very, very important. So it's
critical.
Remember, the key to observe is that they do the opposite. The reversal of the right, and that's Hebrews 10:19. So that's how you get into the kingdom of Satan. Just get your menstrual blood and stick it on an altar and pray to Satan really hard, and it'll probably show up. It's backwards, Just if you have a tampon, that might just save some time, easy collection. Maybe set it on
one of those cups,
the diva cups.
Yeah, you can use moon cup. Maybe put it like near a candle, pour it on a candle. Be like, and then it'll smell rank. But boy, would that be fun. A great way to make your neighbors never want to come to your house, I bet. Oh, it's that time of the month again.
Oh my God.
Smell of burning blood.
The part that I really think is interesting about the Satan character is that actually, if anyone actually bothered themselves to read the Bible, they'd know that he was actually is considered a heavenly prosecutor. So he's a servant of God, not in competition with God. So way to blow the play on that one, Christians. But I mean, come on.
I think one of us should do this for science. Get some menstrual blood, set it on fire, and see if Satan shows up, and then report back and do that.
I cannot.
You got to make sure to say "Hail Satan."
Yes,
you got to say "Hail
or it won't
Satan."
work.
Oh, and the Spider-Man things. Remember that lady said it was satanic. That Spider-Man statue.
Yeah. Maybe you could put your menstrual blood on that.
Oh, it is red.
It's red.
Yeah.
And then have them show up. You totally won't get arrested at all. Somebody do that and let me know what happens.
What are you doing, ma'am? Just spreading my blood on this statue.
I'm calling the powers of Satan. Don't you read your Bible?
Hey, I'm opening the door to the kingdom of the Dark Lord.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness.
That's none of your business.
We're talking about Mary again. I mean, it's totally up in the air about which gaping door she's talking about.
You mean the gaping hole that's in the soul of the homosexual?
Yep. That one.
You need to him in order to fit his hand into.
So that's what that Aerosmith song was about. Did the heart be my soul? I always wonder what the hell they were talking about.
There you go.
Yay! I got answers.
I really want to get more of Mary's books. She does have a few more.
Seriously?
She does. The Holy Ghost and Mrs. Garrison.
And Mrs. Garrison. They sat down together and just, had a conversation.
Had some tea. Yeah. How to try a spirit by their fruits. You will know them. That's another book. Oh, here we go. Binding, loosing, and knowledge. That sounds like a very special book, Mary. Binding and loosing, especially with the gaping holes you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the binding. I mean, I think Mary is secretly kind of kinky.
Yes,
God.
I think so.
It even has one of those old things that you can cut out and order the books. I should call them and see
Oh
if
my
they're still
Lord.
around. I'd be like, bless their heart, Villa Rica, Georgia.
Make sure that you practice your binding very safely.
Gosh,
don't use zip ties. Those things aren't safe.
I can get all
Not
4
for
books
that
for
purpose.
$22, man.
Communication is key.
There's a seven tape set. I wonder what her safe word is. It's probably Asmodius, isn't it?
Lucifer.
No.
Releasing a ministry from psychic commands. Oh my God.
Jesus. I can almost imagine that the kink community is absolutely enamored with the titles of her book.
Yep.
Just a closer walk with thee.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. This sounds like some. Okay, all right. So this sounds like metal lyrics on here. Rebel against God, fret against the hate God, dishonor their own bodies between themselves and straight out and God. You know, become disobedient to parents. Pervert the gospel or truth. You know, it's just like 1 through 6. Making all out surrender to wickedness. Eventually causing one to be despised. I mean, yeah. It's like metal lyrics, like death metal
This
lyrics.
is what it's like when worlds collide.
This is what it's like.
No. BBA, I know you're a musician. Get on that shit.
I'll take
I've got my own songs I'm trying to learn and create. So
They can't be that difficult though. Death, destruction, whoa.
Yep.
Rebel against God.
Missing out on so much nuance when it comes to girls. Snarky. You're killing me.
Here's how you avoid seduction. If you don't want to be seduced by Sexy Lucifer, which I totally would on the Netflix one.
Yes, right?
Yes, I would. He'd be like, hello, would you? Yes, I would, sir. You need some booze? Not at all. Yours and mine. I'm not ashamed, man. Every single one of us totally would. Don't even lie. Unless you're like really, really straight, but I would think it'd be very difficult to turn him down even straight. He'd be like, do you have ladies around? Yeah, I'll just watch. I'm like, fantastic. He would just there want. You know, you would, don't lie. So this is how you avoid seduction from Sexy Lucifer. Regard with care. Pay close attention. Notice what fruit is being produced. Observe.
So you're supposed to watch someone for a whole season. That's
well. I know that sometimes I produce apples and sometimes figs. Not sure what's good or bad, but
observe carefully, rightly dividing the truth.
What?
I don't understand what dividing the truth means.
Those are words.
It means insert your dichotomous magical thinking here.
Yeah.
I just like word salad. It's delicious.
Use presence of mind. So be mindful when you're with somebody you think might be seducing you with the spirit of the devil or Asmodius or Satan or whatever. Do not be foolish, because we never do anything foolish.
So, in other words, use a condom?
Safe sex, yeah.
Okay.
Safe word.
Good advice.
And then try the spirits, whether they be of God. That is so open to all kinds of interpretation.
Like a shot?
I thought we turned down the drinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, just do shots.
I don't like spirits. I drink beer. I don't drink liquor. Don't do it. Sorry.
Oh, so disappointing.
Yes.
I drink Kraken now.
Kraken.
Oh my goodness, sweet little Mary. I'm gonna see if I can get more of these books.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
What was your dark lord hashtag?
Mammon.
Mammon.
I got the Mammon.
I have to know. Mary Garrett, are you on Amazon?
So, if I can open the right window here. So Mammon has the head of a vulture and then the body of a man. Very dark colors. And it looks cool, like in a couple of the photos that I found online. And then in other photos, it just looks awful. But so the word mammon comes to English from post-classical Latin mammona, which means wealth, used most importantly in the Vulgate Bible, which was a late 4th century Latin tradition of the Bible, and it was used in the 16th century and even still somewhat to this day. So he's the demon of greed. Gregory of Nyssa also asserted that Mammon was another name for Beelzebub, so that was interesting to learn. In the 4th century, Cyprian and Jerome relate Mammon to greed, and they relate greed as an evil master that enslaves. And John Chrysostom even personifies Mammon as greed. During the Middle Ages, Mammon was commonly personified as the demon of wealth and greed, carrying on with the theme. Thus, Peter Lombard said, "Riches are called by the name of a devil, namely Mammon, for Mammon is the name of a devil, by which name riches are called, according to the Syrian tongue." Piers Plowman also regards Mammon as a deity. Nicholas de Lyra, commenting on the passage in Luke, says, and this is in Latin, so don't take my pronunciation, Mammon est nomen daemonis, or what translates to Mammon is the name of a demon. In Notes of the New Testament by Albert Barnes, he states that Mammon was a Syriac word for an idol worshipped as the god of riches, similar to Plutus among the Greeks, but he cited no authority for this statement. And there is no trace of any Syriac god of such a name, and the common literary identification of the name with the god of covetousness or avarice likely stems from Spenser's The Faerie Queen, where Mammon oversees a cave of worldly wealth. Milton's Paradise Lost describes a fallen angel who values earthly treasure over all other things. Later, occultist writings such as Jacques Collin de Plancy's Dictionnaire Infernal describe Mammon as hell's ambassador to England. So that was also cool. For Thomas Carlyle in Past and Present, the Gospel of Mammonism became simply a metaphoric personification for the materialistic spirit of the 19th century. Mammon is somewhat similar to the Greek god Plutus and the Roman dispatcher in his description, and it is likely that he was at some point based on them, especially since Plutus appears in the Divine Comedy as a wolf-like demon of wealth, wolves having been associated with greed in the Middle Ages. Thomas Aquinas metaphorically described the sin of avarice as Mammon being carried up from hell by a wolf, coming to inflame the human heart with greed. Under the influence of the social gospel movement, American populists, progressives, and muckrakers during the generation of 1880 to 1925 used Mammon with specific reference to the consolidated wealth and power of the banking and corporate institutions headquartered on Wall Street and their previous activities nationwide. There is quite a few mentions in popular culture, besides the ones that I previously said. The Phantom of the Opera worships Mammon. In Frederick Forst's The Phantom of Manhattan, The Alchemist by Ben Jonson, Sir Epicure, Mammon is a man obsessed with material wealth. And even in Dungeons and Dragons, Mammon is an archdevil, one of the archdukes and ruler of the third layer of hell. Mammon was in Constantine as the son of Lucifer / Satan himself, conceived before his father fell from heaven, but born after Satan was sent to hell. He has a lust for power and tries to gain control over Earth with the aid of renegade angel Gabriel. Gabriel seeking to make humanity worthy of God's love by forcing them to endure hell on Earth. He is defeated when Constantine manages to summon Lucifer to collect him by attempting suicide. Lucifer then destroys Gabriel's wings and banishes Mammon back to hell, stating that he prefers to wait and see Earth come to him on its own. There's some comics such as Spawn, God is Dead, and Final Crisis. The Black Monday Murders also features Mammon. In video games, there's a in the role-playing game In Nomine, I'm not sure. He's a minor demon, Prince of Greed. In Heaven's Last Defense in the realm of StarCraft, he is portrayed as the son of Lucifer. In Chrono Trigger, he is also mentioned Quest 64, and a visual novel, and this is Japanese, so again, don't take my pronunciation, Umineko no Naku Koronai. And in manga, which is the Japanese like book form of anime, is for what I understand. I'm not entirely sure, but in Beelzebub, Mammon is mentioned, and in the light novel Shakugan no Shana. So yeah, not as exciting. Well, I mean it's exciting, but not as much information on Mammon as some of the other demons.
Hey, he was in Constantine, and that's cool.
Mhm.
I really like that movie.
Awesome. Constantine is fun. I did put a link in the side chat to Mary Garrison's How to Conduct Spiritual Warfare. You can get it on Kindle for $7.15. It looks like there's a Spartan on the front of it, so it's like a way better book cover than what's there now. And it shows all of her other books. So if you're curious and want to go down that rabbit hole, have fun, kids.
No thanks. I've got enough spiritual books in my house, really, to be honest.
But do they have
Yeah,
gaping
speak for
holes in
yourself.
homosexuals that
I
Jesus
mean-
needs to put their hand in with cream?
No,
Okay.
nothing like that. Just that everything is magic. That's all.
Okay.
Oh god, I love how my streams always somehow manage to dive down this sexual rabbit hole. That's totally intended.
Because we're classy people.
Yep.
It's all right.
It's like Alice in Wonderland, all on your one channel, man. We're all mad here.
Yeah. You got friends in low places. See, I know country music.
Oh no, now that
Oh,
song's gonna be
God.
stuck in my head.
I got friends.
No.
Oh,
Yep.
Putting earworms in people's heads.
Too late.
Right? It's already
That-
there.
That will be there for at least a week.
oh my gosh.
All right, so I just really want to quickly, because going through social commentary or political commentary or whatever is part of this monthly show. Yeah, I'm thinking like a brief little discussion from each of us. So does anyone have any piece of social, political, science, anything commentary they want to do?
The world's on fire.
Yeah.
We need help. Somebody
Yeah.
help. Boris
There's-
Johnson is PM of the UK now.
Yep.
What is going on?
Not by choice, at least. Like that was kind of forced.
Yeah.
Because it's not like here where you vote for these people, that it's the party itself that selected him.
It's
Which-
still pretty bad, though.
Yeah,
They
the
can
fact that
call
there
for
were
a
enough.
general election, though. They can do that.
Oh, they can.
Yeah, they can call for a general election if
That's
the people
good.
push hard enough. I actually was at a London protest once when the Brexit vote came out. I landed the day the
Really?
Brexit vote came out, and all my friends were texting me. That was a few years ago, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, did you see? They voted to leave the EU." They were just so I had to console so many of my friends because they were pro Remain.
Mhm.
And I actually went to one of the protests. It was awesome. So they had DJs set up playing Bowie music, and then you like going. It was huge. They marched past Downing Street all the way down to Parliament. I didn't chant or say anything because I don't have a dog in a fight. But I wanted to show up and, kind of learn. But I also had friends of mine who couldn't go. So I kind of felt like, okay, I'll just represent my friends that couldn't go. So I don't feel this weird American at this protest or whatever. But it was really cool. But it's just,
Sweet.
man, it's a hot mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep. Britain now has a Trump.
And nobody knew what they were voting for. Like,
No.
had they fully explained the ramifications of leaving the EU, people would have been a little bit smarter. But they're just like, oh, well, I heard from these people that we need to leave, and I trust them, so we need to leave.
Yeah. And then there were people who didn't vote because they thought, surely this would
Yep.
never happen. Just like our election
Like,
with
yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, surely he'll never be president. That's stupid and crazy.
It was like the dominoes just fell.
Yeah.
They kept falling and falling and falling.
Oh
They're
my
still
God.
falling. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I remember back when the Scottish referendum was a thing, one of the big arguments for Scotland remaining part of the United Kingdom was that you don't leave a union.
Hmm.
And months later, they voted to leave the European Union.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is... Do you not understand consistency?
Look, you can't expect groups of people to remain consistent. You just,
That's true.
or logically
Yeah.
sound, or follow their own logic, or any of that.
Reasonable.
Oh, It's like
Yeah.
all the people who benefited from the EU are going to die, you know, because they're old, and, you know, and then all the young people will not have any benefits whatsoever of the EU. And
it's going to railroad shipping and transport. It's going to be a freaking mess.
I mean, there are already people who have lived there like 15 years as teachers that are being kicked out. And so you have, you know, students, professors at universities who are not UK citizens. They've already started kicking people out. I had a friend of mine who went to, I forget which college she went to. She got her master's there, got a job there, and was working there, had lived there 6 years, 7 years. They denied her citizenship. They refused her a visa. She had to leave the country, move to another country. She's an American, but she had to move to another country, try to find a job because she couldn't afford to move all the way back to America. So she found a job in Sweden for a while. I think she ended up, can't remember, I think she's in Finland now. But it's just, it was a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
It's impacting real lives.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not like technically speaking, because I can teach science. That's such a high need job. I could go over there and I could work and stuff, and I would be able to stay, but it's only for like hard science. They don't want biology teachers. They don't want physical science teachers. They want chemistry, physics, and math. And if you can't teach any one of those, they just kick you out. Even if you're an English teacher and you've been there 15, 20 years, they will kick you out because you're not a high needs job anymore. So it's pretty frightening. And I'm like, thank goodness I can teach chemistry. If I ever need to leave this country, I'll stop over there somewhere. Like, oh my goodness. But it's nuts. So yeah. I have something funny, kind of.
Good.
Right, all right. So there's this Greek Orthodox priest, and it's kind of similar with Asmodius and the whole homosexual agenda. Gay people are caused by pregnant women having anal sex.
Wait, what?
Right.
That's very specific.
These are facts.
These are
This
facts.
Greek Orthodox priest, this has come out today, is essentially saying that gay people are caused by pregnant women having sex. I wonder, how do bi people happen? That's my first question.
Double
And
penetration.
Just the tip.
Yeah, probably it.
Just the tip. My other question is, what about pan people? Are we implementing really strange looking toys to happen in various orifices?
I think pansexual people are made by a pregnant woman having an orgy or group sex.
Sure.
Okay.
Don't ask me to verify any of this. Just have to take my word.
Well,
But it's all true.
His name is Bishop Neophytos Maceras of the Church of Cyprus. So go have fun with that. There's a video of him from a speech in June, and he's speaking to a group of people in Akaki. That sounds like something else.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
And he says it is a problem which is usually transmitted by parents to the child, he says. And he also said it occurs when the couple has sex while the woman is pregnant and the sex is unnatural, as he characterized anal sex. Now, when the woman enjoys anal sex, a desire is created, which is then transmitted to the unborn child.
Oh. Sure.
Yeah,
But,
whatever.
You know,
Magic.
Now, what? Okay, so what if the child is a girl and is gay? Is she gonna like
More
anal sex?
anal sex, yeah.
More anal sex?
It must be.
Strap-ons.
I don't know.
Yep.
Strap-ons all the way down.
Rainbow strap-ons.
Flat Earth, except for homosexual women who
Dildos, yeah. Just all the way down.
all the way down.
Oh.
That's what I want to know. How do you get gay women if it's anal sex and pansexuals and bisexuals? And I'm just like,
Well,
People
Lord,
discover they have fingers, and then it's
there was one, I don't remember what their profession was, but it was somebody in the Middle East. They were kind of like a doctor, I think, if I remember correctly. And they were trying to say that gayness comes because there's in the intestines, there's a parasite, right? And that parasite feeds on sperm. So the parasite makes the person, the man in this case, crave sperm in its ass. So henceforth, that's where gay people come from. And this is something recent, like within the last 6 months, I heard of this. Yeah, chew on that one.
I'm confused by something.
What?
How exactly does one crave a substance in their anal cavity?
The worm is magic and can manipulate the brain to engage in anal sex because it needs to feed on semen, apparently. Yep.
I mean, so what if?
Is there like no other
What if
protein?
you're in the middle of a dry spell?
Just there are other proteins that are within the colon. Why
Right.
sperm specifically? I don't understand.
I don't know. It was definitely not based in science. That's for sure.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I don't
if you take that if you take with that idea, then how do you take into account the gay priests raping straight boys?
I don't know. That's
because
a good question. They also couldn't account for lesbians too. They couldn't account for that.
nobody
So
ever can. But
No.
apparently lesbians are completely fine in the Christian world, except for, except amongst the other women. All of the women in a church might be mad at a gay couple that are women. Be like, how could you do that? All of these Christian men around here. Like, yeah, all of these Christian men. Some of the most sexually depraved organizations I have been to have been certain churches in this area because of people hooking up.
There's like five Christian churches and a mosque within like 2 miles of one another around me.
Oh wow.
It's just, I mean, I have so many stories of people having to leave the church. Any church, every single church I've been to, there's been some sexual scandal where somebody's been sleeping with all the women. And I'm like, some kind of scandal associated with, adultery and infidelity and all kinds of lovely things. And then it just gets around like a virus. And you're like, wow, man, just about every church I've been to has had some kind of sex scandal where people were hooking up with each other. And I'm like, okay, this is a dating site.
Well, there is something to that, because isn't there this, and it might be just a generalization or a stereotype, so forgive me, but there is this stereotype that like preachers' daughters are the most getting laid out there. Like they're just getting laid left and right. So Like there might be something to like the rebelliousness of just sleeping around, I guess.
There's a little bit of appeal to that. I think it also speaks to just how we behave in communities, just generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got people in places of power, and that's sexy to some people.
Yeah.
You know, oh, this is the youth minister. This is the deacon.
Right.
This is,
Yeah.
this
And
is
that's how
oh,
you get a politician that gets caught sending pictures
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And sports players.
Yeah.
You know, it's just after a while, the politician's like, yeah, that's my junk. Don't y'all like it? You know, I mean, it just at least own it and say, this was awesome. I got to hook up with this person and it was great. I mean, look who's in the office now. Let's just throw morals out the window, you know? It's just, you know, or I would probably have more respect for them if they're like, you know what? My wife and I ain't been doing so great and she's not interested. If it was like an open marriage, you know, can you imagine if that politician had an open marriage and all of a sudden his life is ruined because somebody shared pictures? He should have come out and be like, hey, look, my wife says it's cool. And she come like, yeah, man, it's really cool.
Right.
He got his thing. Look at him over there. You see that Secret Service dude? He and I last week. You know, it's fantastic. Super, you know, he runs and he got some stamina. And then the politician like, you know what? I watched. It was fantastic. I just really wish that was me freaking honest because you know that's
but
happening.
Unfortunately, we have still this unnecessary, in my opinion, taboo of, you know, people having such arrangements, which,
you know,
like if it's not hurting anyone, I don't see why it's taboo.
See, I'm not totally convinced that Hillary actually was upset with Bill sleeping with women because I'm pretty certain she just knew and she's like, okay, Bill, I don't care. I'm going to do my thing. You do your thing. We're just going to be a power couple.
It could very well be like House of Cards, right?
Yeah, it could have been like that. Like he has his thing, I have my thing.
A lot of people said that it was based on them.
It might have been. I mean, it just, you know, I just wish people were honest. I'm like, yeah.
Honest people? They can do that?
People go and do their thing, you know? And so I think that would kind of blow open a lot of the stigma we have where, oh, we can't have gays getting married, or we can't have transgender people doing this. Oh, we can't, like, well, you know it, politicians hooking up with lots of people. I do have inside information on some things that I can't share with certain politicians because I used to know one and I had to like completely stop talking to them because of this. I'm like, you know too much and I don't want to get in trouble. So, but there are things that they do.
Yeah, and it's not Anthony Weiner. No.
I was invited to some things and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going there. So
yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that's just a whole can of worms.
Yeah. Right? So they have their own little depravity organizations that they engage in.
You get people huddled together in a group, they're gonna start
copulating.
Human's gonna human.
Yes.
I guess.
I will say nothing else.
Anyone else got any other stories? Stuff they want to talk about?
World's on fire, bub. That's the story.
We open with that though.
And we end with that because
this world is on fire.
Yeah.
This world is on fire.
We don't need no water.
Let the motherfucker burn.
Yeah.
Burn.
It's dark all over again, except with no more polar ice caps. And then, you know, Kent Hovind will be like, well, all of the life in the sea is going to die because it'll be hot underneath because that's what it did before. Oh, my God, Kent Hovind.
He's special.
Yes.
He's a certain type of special.
Yeah.
I've got to get my stuff together for the next Worldacity because Arn Ra's going to be on that. So that's gonna be awesome. And I've got, I think I'm gonna pull the segment when I did Bullyinator's 12-hour live stream benefit. I think I'm gonna pull the segment where I called Kent Hovind and play a bit of that and get Aaron's take.
I still can't believe you're making friends with Kent Hovind.
That's
That's how I'm spinning this. Damn it.
He answered his assistant answered the phone. And then I said, well, I'm a teacher and I'm developing a unit on dinosaurs. And I'd really like to ask his perspective on the diversification of the various species, how they came to be that way. And she said, well, that's a perfect question for Dr. Hovind. I'll patch her right. So I'm like, fantastic.
Dr. Dino.
So that was
Dr. Hovind.
God, that was like a doctor. I only had seen a little bit of his videos before that time because I knew nothing about the man. And then I sat on the phone with him for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, man, this is like.
I hope you Googled him because.
Well, I did after a while. And then I've learned a lot since then.
Oh,
but
I'm sure you've learned a lot.
I was like, golly, man. What is wrong with you?
What was his inmate number again? I forget.
I don't know. I don't remember tax fraud. But it was weird. And it just was like listening to a completely, utterly insane human being just say things like it was just like he believed 1,000% what he was saying. I'm like,
look, don't disparage insane human beings like that.
No. I mean, I don't mean that, but Lord, it's just like he believes what he's selling.
Yeah,
he
does.
really, really believes what he's selling. And he just, oh my God.
I imagine if you tell yourself a lie over and over again, you start to convince yourself.
Yeah,
that's real. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fake it till you make it. That's what we call confidence.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger confidence.
Confident. I'm gonna walk into this meeting and I'm gonna own it. Hi guys, I'm the most amazing person in the world. Oh my God, I want to cry inside.
Me every day.
Oh, fake it till you make it. That's Kent Hovind right there, except in all the worst ways.
Think and Get Rich. Oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's an actual book. Think and Get Rich. And it reads like the longest infomercial in the world. It has like paragraphs that are in all caps and every other letter is in caps. Like words like think is in all caps. It's brilliant. It's so funny.
Oh my goodness. Trans gamer girl said, fucking dead pig's mouths like David Cameron. Yes, David Cameron put his penis in the mouth of a head of a dead pig. Oh, which was funny because that was actually a Black Mirror episode.
Yes, I was about to say. I thought that was on Black Mirror, but turns out
that actually did happen with David Cameron.
Yeah, but David Cameron wasn't forced into it, was he?
No, he wasn't. He did it of his own free will with a bunch of frat guys.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, yep. Sure does. Jacks it up to a 10 on a weird scale.
Yeah.
They, all of my friends lovingly call him the pig fucker. David Cameron. And I don't swear. I'm like not usually live, but I'm quoting my friends who swear. I swear off.
I swear like a sailor.
I don't even know how to process this information. I'm just stunned.
David Cameron, sex with a pig.
I don't want to Google it. I'm scared.
I want to see that shit.
There might be pictures.
I don't know that there's a picture of it, but I do know that there are other eyewitnesses who have confirmed that this has happened. And I think we got him on tape saying it or something.
My virgin ears. I can't take it.
Oh my God.
Part of me honestly thinks that my Google searches have to look weird enough just for my channel. So I don't think I need that added to it.
Yeah, I searched what a blue waffle was, and I regretted that.
Nobody Google that.
But I am the person that when people are like, hey, don't Google this, I'm like, incognito mode, go!
Like, it's really fun for my segment on Oral Audacity when I try to find products that aren't real. and then I type in interesting things into Amazon trying to find these products, and now all of a sudden, and then I have been thoroughly disturbed with what shows up when you type in vaginal. Go on Amazon.com, search for vaginal, and spend like 5 minutes looking through that, trying to find products for your is it real or not segment on your show, and then you'll be changed.
Maybe whenever I get my prescription of Ambien refilled.
There's some stuff.
Oh my God.
I found some vulva balm.
Mm-hmm. You'll find some coochie spray.
Oh yeah, treats symptoms of yeast infection. Oh, an oil spray, because essential oils fix everything.
No, oh my God! Don't put oil on your cooch.
There's some bands that are called like Vaginal Experience or something like that. Then there's some audiobook about vaginal torture saw.
What?
Yes, I know. There's cover art and everything. So go through. Yeah.
There is a vaginal tightness spray, just called Tight.
Yep.
What's tight?
Oh, brother.
Isn't real.
Yeah. We covered coochie spray on Oral Audacity last Sunday with.
I'm gonna have to go and watch that.
Oh my God, Hannibal and Monty were on. Doc couldn't be there because he had some stuff he had to take care of. But oh my God,
they're funny. I like Hannibal and Monty.
Oh yes.
When they found out that certain products were real, Hannibal immediately started reading the reviews. It was so great.
Oh, yes.
It's like, oh my God, this is 2-star ratings. Or 4-star ratings. I want to see where the 1-star is. And so it just, oh God. I think Oral Audacity is probably my favorite show that I do right now because it takes so much time to put together, but it just runs so great.
It's a lot of fun. I missed this last week and I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But we're not going to be there. We're not going to be live on Sunday because Bull's out of town and he produces my shows now. Yay! So I can focus on content. But he's out of town, so we're taking the weekend off so I can focus on that. And I've got a new job and stuff like that. So the following Sunday, Aaron Raw will be on there. And so that was, I think we called it the oral analyses of Aaron Raw. So we're going to sit there and he's going to have his own challenges. He's going to have to do. I think Karen might flirt with him a bit. Karen actually flirted heavily with Monty on the last episode. I don't know if Karen's going to flirt with Aaron, but she might have a comment about being into Klingons. So, and see if Aaron picks that up. but that'll be fun. It'll be fun. And we're going to talk about his experiences with Kent Hovind. So essentially, just letting him let loose. And so Doc's excited. He's going to fanboy the whole time with Aaron Raw there. He did with PZ. He fanboyed the whole time with PZ. It's like, Professor PZ's here. I'm not worthy. It's like, and I get to talk to Aaron Raw on your show. I'm like, simmer down.
PZ's awesome.
He's great. PZ feels like a dad to me. He feels like my dad or something. So every time he's on, we're just like, hey, did you see the spider thing? So, yeah, I did. It was great. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm really scared whenever I get the spider updates. I mean, it's really cool and all, but it's like, they're all about to hatch. Shit.
And they're chanting, snarky, snarky, snarky.
Some of them are pretty damn adorable, though. Like, my daughter is really afraid of spiders, so that's a problem. I don't let her read PZ's blog.
So I should stay away from that then.
Yeah, you should probably, if you have arachnophobia.
Oh, big time. Like when that the wasping episode or the wasping clip I did, I'm scrolling down, and all of a sudden at the bottom is this huge video preview, and it's like, what you need to know about brown recluse spider bites because they're on the rise. I'm like, fuck you!
No!
Fuck you!
Ouch.
But I mean, even if I was had arachnophobia, I would still share PZ out because PZ's awesome, and he goes over other stuff too.
He does
a lot of social stuff and.
He was so much fun to have on the channel. We ended up talking about how, for that episode, I don't know how we got on it. He started talking about bonfires and stuff, and you know, I don't know, and that we're all they were all manly, and we have bonfires and we drink raw vodka and eat meat. And I'm like, oh wow, you know, maybe I can put some blood on my face and dance around the fire. I'm like, oh, we can have Viking stuff. And somehow it got into like, it'd be like Lagatha, Shield Maiden. And somehow it ended up talking where we were like, we have to have a Viking Christmas with Peasy as Father Odin, you know, as the All Father, sitting there on and then, you know, Doc could be Loki. I don't know who the heck I'll be, but I'm just gonna show up as a Shield Maiden, all badass.
Be Frigg.
Frigg, you know, just and run around. Like, we have to have a Viking Christmas. That sounds way more fun. And he's like, yeah, you can come up. So we're gonna try to. I think maybe
you better have an Ivor the Boneless, because wow.
Ivor. Oh my god.
Ivor the Boneless. God, that was so epic and crazy. I loved it.
Oh my god. And Ivor manages to have a kid, but we all know how she got pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Not by Ivor.
Immaculate conception.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's the name of a church that my mother used to go to.
Yikes.
Nice. What are you doing? I'm just heading down to get some Immaculate Conception.
What church do you go to? Oh, the one named after not sex.
The one that's named after creepy, almost non-consensual forced birth.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna overlook that part.
Spirit raping.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, well, she does say, "Do to me that the Lord says." So, I mean, you do kind of have consent there, but then you're kind of like,
if you say no, though, what happens? It's the Lord.
It's kind of like coerced, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to say no to the king to have sex with the king? And I'm just feel like, you know, no, yes. Well, if I say no, what are you going to do? If I say yes, are you going to give me my own house? You know, and
is this a one-time thing, or is this revolving?
Am I gonna, you know, are you gonna just give me a bag of really big old bag of money, and then I don't ever have to see you again? I'm gonna go over here, or I mean, I probably, given how things were back in those days, if I was a poor woman and I was like had no prospects, how do you say no to the king? Particularly if he's like, I'm going to give you nice dresses. I will give you a house. I mean, I totally get that. I'm like, it's like a freaking survival thing.
Yeah, you don't. You don't unless it's Henry VIII. Then you might want to run.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Don't lose your head.
You go around seducing the king. She's a witch. What? Oh my god. How many times did you grab my ass? When we were like at the banquet with your wife, like right there. You know, it's like, dude. Oh my goodness. Man, that's just no.
There's like the one Bible verse that I think is used way too much, and it's taken completely in a way different direction than what it should really mean. And that's when the part where Jesus is talking about, I came for the poor and the homeless and helpless and shit, and not for the sinners.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it's like, that's completely how you get a cult started. Is, you know, you offer somebody who has absolutely nothing, you know, offer him like a fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Which is what he's offering. You know, apparently God the Father has a whole bunch of mansions set aside for people in heaven. You know, promise that to somebody who's like filing for bankruptcy, and they're going to follow you immediately.
Yeah.
So it's just really,
particularly if they're undereducated and already have limited resources.
Like they were 2,000 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember the percentage, but like a good 3/4 of people back 2,000 years ago were illiterate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
or something like that.
Most of the stained glass windows that we see, particularly in the Catholic Church, were there to tell the story
Yep.
associated with Christ and the
Yeah.
apostles because they couldn't read.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hate to leave, but I have to. I have to get ready
Yeah.
for another stream. But I do
Busy
want to say
girl.
I do want to say thank you for having me on, Bub. This was a lot of fun. This usually is.
Thanks for coming on. Do you want to give a brief talk about your channel real quick?
I am Mrs. Snarky, and I have a Snarky channel. Lately, I've been talking about politics and philosophical things, and more philosophy to come. Yay! So, look forward to that.
Yep, you'll actually find links to Mrs. Snarky's Twitter and YouTube channel in the description box. So head
Yay!
down there and follow her and subscribe.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, Snarky. It's actually getting to be about that time. So does everybody else want to shout out your channels real quick?
Go, Mel.
Okay. So I do primarily science communication on my channel, Scientist Mel. You can just Google that and you'll find all of my sites, including my website. I do have resources there for teachers. All of the slides that I do on my Saturday morning show. I didn't have a show today because my producer's out of town. Next Saturday, I believe we're covering string theory. So I have all of the different slides that I use for my presentation, in addition to all the sources available on my website, scientistmel.com/resources. I have a shop there. And if you want to be a cam girl for science, you absolutely can. There are dresses, t-shirts. I also have a section of my shop called Blocked By, where the proceeds go to various organizations, charities, including ACLU, Planned Parenthood, the Trevor Project, all kinds of different things. And it's based on poor behavior of people on the internet and the dumb things that they say and do. So I have fun with that. And then I do have my show, Oral Audacity, which is on Sundays with the incomparable Doc Savage, who leaves me crying with laughter almost every single episode, where it's just the whole show is where smart people riff on bad science. We have videos that we play, we tear apart. We have Aaron Raw on a week from tomorrow. We've had PZ Myers, we've had Hannibal and Monty, and we've had various topics that we've discussed, whether it's Deepak Chopra, Ken Ham, David Avocado Wolf. And we just go through, and it's also an educational program, even though it's very sweary and it's primarily comedy. It's still a bit of a learning experience. So check it out, like, share, and subscribe, and come laugh with us. It's a pretty fun show. So.
You can also find Mel's. You can actually find all of the 7 princes in the description box below.
Yep.
Their Twitter and YouTube. And Mel actually sent me her Patreon link the way I asked. So check her out on Patreon too. Who's next?
I can go. I am #Heathen. I have a health update coming up next week on my channel. And I am going to be going into 2 different books as well. So those will be series. But yeah, so find me on YouTube and on the Twitter.
All right. BBA?
Well, Bible Belt Atheist, actually able to put out more content more frequently now that I've graduated high school. Basically just talk about science, religion, politics, and atheism. I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's about it.
All right. And I, of course, am BMillzebub, your definitely not humble host. I make 2 videos a week. I upload them every Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And once a month, I do this show, of course. And I also do a once a month show called Criticisms of the Catholic Church, where I grab my Catechism of the Catholic Church, as you can probably see up there, pick something I want to talk about for the month and absolutely flog the shit out of it. So be sure to check those videos out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Join me on Discord, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Patreon as well. And yeah, take it easy, everyone, and we'll all see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.